Hey everyone. So today on Hey It's Me XO, I have a special guest joining us. So, as I have talked a little bit about being in business, a woman in business, she is a woman, a local woman that I know, a friend. She's in business, has been in business for over 12 years, is what we had talked about, a life coach. And as her and I have kind of dug into her business a little bit, as she and I have dug into her business, we have realized that she's actually a transformational coach. She will be able to explain that a little bit more and what that means. But we have spent some time together with her business and my business, spending hours kind of learning new systems. One thing that I have been able to help her with is some of the tech stuff that she, has been in business for a while, but has been out of the tech world. And so we actually have been experiencing a little of ChatGPT and what AI, how it can help us in our businesses. And I know it can be a kind of a scary thing, but it doesn't have to be. And, her and I have talked a lot about how ChatGPT can be a tool. I call it my business partner. I've called it before my boyfriend, and it helps me get clarity and it helps me when I'm feeling stuck. I can put questions in there and be able to answer those questions. So we might talk a little bit about that today and how you can implement some of that in your business as well. And so I am really excited to have her join us, and I want you to hear her heart. Hear, she has some fun events coming up, so she'll be able to describe that a little bit, but also just like what she's learned from women as she's coached for the past 12 years. So it will be a real treat for us, and I hope you kind of just are able to listen and gain some knowledge, and also just know that I'm here. If you're looking for somebody that can coach you through breakthrough for your business, for your personal life, I am taking on clients that we can do that. And the goal is for us to learn tools together that we can be more efficient in our business and grow as women together, because sometimes the journey can be lonely. So I will bring her in and let her get comfortable, and I can't wait for you to meet Tracey Pruitt, my friend. Okay, everyone. So, as I said, this is my friend Tracey Pruitt. We have been talking a lot about business and our businesses, and I just think we need to hear more from women that are in business, and it is a lonely journey. And I know, especially in business, there's times you can be discouraged. There's times that you want to give up. There's times that things are lean or tight, and our friends that, are getting a paycheck from their employer don't always get to see that part of the journey. So I want to bring Tracey on because, for one thing, I know that both of her and I are just growing in business together. We've really been spending some time together. We actually took 2 days out of our schedule and went to the beach, and we're committed to working on our businesses, even though they're separate. But you need to do that. You need to have a partner in business, even if it's not a business partner, but somebody that can help you stay focused and help you through the times that are discouraging, that understands. So I wanted to bring her on because I want you to meet Tracey and hear her story, hear about what she does. And as I said earlier, she's considered herself a life coach, but as we've dug in and she's gotten even more clarity, she realizes that she's actually a transformational coach,
Great.
and what she's done to help women. So I Tracey has been coaching women for 12 years. And Tracey, today I want you to describe yourself as a transformational coach and tell us a little bit about the journey, what this means to you, what you've learned. Just tell us how you even got started. Why did you decide to become a coach?
Oh, that's good. How long do we have, Tammy? Hello,
Forever.
everyone.
Forever.
Oh, it's so good to be here. Thank you, Tammy, for inviting me. I'm super excited. And I want to add to your little introduction where you said that it's good to have a partner, whether it's the same business or different, and to help us during the hard times, but it's also to celebrate the wins.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do. And that's something that I love doing is helping celebrate the wins. And when we overcome an obstacle or when we overcome something or something comes our way that's really good, then we want to celebrate together. So, and it's always good to be able to celebrate. So, yes, I have been life coaching for 12 years. And one of the things I want to really hone in on is why I chose life coaching, which now I am a transformational coach. And I'll explain that in a minute. But when I first started 12 years ago, it wasn't out of just, oh, I want to do this because I had a full-time job. I had a paycheck actually twice a month and I had full benefits, and I was in the field that I have my master's degree in, and so in education and in special needs, and so I had it all made, so they say. And then God got a hold of me and said, there's more. And that's what was so exciting is that there is more. And so I looked into, I won't go into the whole story, but if you want my whole story, I will eventually put it out there. But there were some people talking about coaching and how it really helped them. It helped them get focused and it helped them get their goals and their action steps and their dreams into reality and all of that. And I thought, oh, I want to do that, but I want to do it with women. I don't know that much. I mean, men are great. Don't get me wrong, but that was not my focus because I don't have that man brain. So, long story short, I took a leap of faith and resigned actually a week ago, 10 days ago today, in 2014. I put in my resignation and I wanted to start this. And I did have a little financial backing from my parents who had passed away, but it wasn't a lot. And I knew I had to be really careful with it. So, I got to start up Awaken Life Coaching and Supports, and I was very blessed. I started slow. Nobody knew what life coaching was all about. And I really wanted to know a little bit more. So I did take a certificate course so I could be an actual professional, certified professional coach. That's what my certificate said. And it gave me a lot of great ideas, and I could take the templates and make them my own. So now we're here. And probably what, Tammy, about 5 months ago, 4 months ago, 3 months ago, we were talking and transformation came up and how transformed God has brought me from one point to the other point, and He has transformed me. And in the Word, in the Bible, it talks about being transformed and being a new creation in Christ Jesus. And so I started thinking about that, and I've started thinking about all the women that I've helped in life coaching. And one of the things that I decided is I'm not just a life coach, I'm a transformational coach. And I'd rather say transformational coach because it just makes more sense to me because I've been transformed. I want that for the women that I work with. How's that?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, and really when we were talking about it, it's like you don't just coach. Like you've had people, you've actually seen people change in their life. And,
Mhm.
and I think coaching, when you hear of life coaching, it just seems broad.
It does. Yes, very much so.
And I think a lot of people don't understand why would I need a life coach, but when we talk about transformation, a lot of times people think, I've been stuck in this place for way too long, and how do I get transformed to not be this person? And
Right.
Tracy, why don't you talk a little bit about that? What does transformational coaching mean to you?
Well, That's a great question. And for me, transformation is so let's go back to life coaching. Life coaching, we do goals and we do action steps. First of all, we have to figure out where we're at and or kind of know where we're at. So I have some different tools that I use and activities to get you thinking about the different areas of your life. There's 6 areas, won't go into those, but there are 6 areas. So we do things to find out where your need is. But what I've noticed with transformational, and now that I'm doing more, I've done it, but now that I put a name to it, transformational, it is actually um, who they're becoming in the process of getting their goals and their action steps completed. It's that deeper work that they do to figure out and to discover who they really are. Who, and I know back in the 70s, I have to find myself. I mean, I grew up in the 60s and the 70s where, I've got to find myself, the hippie days. That's not what it's about. What it's about is discovering that what God says and who He created us to be, and discovering that and being able to walk that out. And what just probably every time that really locks us up or gets us to that place where we feel stuck is that there's obstacles out there, and those obstacles from keeping us from the fullness of who God created us to be is the things like self-limiting beliefs, patterns that are unhealthy, toxic relationships, poor boundaries. We could just go on and on. And those are the obstacles that keep us from really understanding and discovering who we are and being able to be transformed into the fullness of who God created us to be.
It's good. Yeah.
So,
So after 12 years of working with women,
mhm.
because it's been 12 years,
Yes, it has.
the awesome celebration, which I love that you brought that in because we do need to celebrate each other and we need to be able to celebrate our wins. And even if they're tiny, we need to be able to celebrate that. So,
Smallest ones, we'll take them.
yep, it's always whatever tiny step forward that we make. It doesn't matter. We're moving, you know.
Right.
So what are some common themes that are keeping women stuck that you see, you know?
Well, every woman that comes into my office has a story to tell. And in within that story, as I'm listening, there's always, I mean, almost 99%, there's always something that's keeping them from really being able to um, get to the place where they want to be. So they may have a dream when they're in their 20s or even 30s, and that dream hasn't happened. But the reason why is a lot of times we get busy with our career or husbands or children or the grandchildren, and everything that we're wanting just gets stuffed down to where we're doing for everyone and we're forgetting about us. And that kind of sounds pretty selfish, but we're doing. And so many of the women either are doing so much for other people that they forgot what their dream actually was, or on the other hand, their lives just feel chaotic because maybe financially they're not doing well, or their marriage is not good, or a child is struggling. I mean, there's just so many different things that then that takes precedent, and then they stuff down that dream that they really want to become a reality, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, and it's not selfish. It's just how do you balance all that out to be able to take care of the things you're supposed to be responsible for, but also be able to continue to work towards that dream and bring that into reality because it's going to make your life so much better. And in the midst of all of that, you're actually doing a work inside yourself to get rid of poor habits or patterns that we have chosen to take on, or be able to stop those self-limiting beliefs and change those things. Whatever it is, those obstacles that keep us, They're big. Sometimes they're really big, but they're not impossible to get to bust up, to get past. I usually tell the women, we'll run into obstacles. We are not going to go around them. We're going to bust through them because when we bust through an obstacle, usually we're discovering something else about ourselves that we can transform into something different, something better, something healthier. So,
That's good. So something I'm hearing you say as a theme in that conversation or that question, is women put everybody else before them.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And
And
we do that. And we do that. And I don't think that that's wrong all the time, but we do that.
and that's from what I'm hearing you say, it's part of your job as a coach to help them see those things where it's okay. It's okay as women to take some times for ourselves.
mhm. It is. It actually is. It's okay for us to say, to have healthy boundaries, to be able to say no, to stop being a people pleaser. Oh, I am a recovering people pleaser. And I found that I walked into that earlier this spring and that was pointed out to me by the Lord Himself. And let me tell you, because I had stopped that behavior.
Well, why
So,
don't we tell them a little bit about that story? So something that I'm going to mention is Tracy is an author. She has a book. She has a published book on Amazon.
yep,
Do
I
you want to
do.
tell them the title?
Yes, it's called God's Way, a spirit-led way to health and wholeness. I'm so excited about it. Yeah,
And it was a God-given book. It was something
it
that
was.
God was working through your life.
Hmm.
And it's a workbook.
Yep, it is. So it has great questions. It's got great things to be able to think about, chew on, and hopefully through that book, you will have a transformation into a little bit more of what you were created for. So it really is, it was totally a God-given book
Well,
concept.
and I will put the link in the comments too. But one thing that Tracy and a couple friends of mine, we have gotten together on Zoom and have done a book study. And
Mhm.
so, I've actually gone through the study. We did a small group at church. Tracy led it, so it was great. I am just going to
That
put a
was
plug.
before the book was
Yeah.
published.
And there's been some revisions that's happened
Mhm.
since then, but I'm going to put a plug in for it for the fact that, our journeys can't be by themselves.
Mhm.
This is part of why I wanted to bring Tracy on because we've kind of been walking this journey together. And also, it's great to do a study with somebody else. And so this is really designed for something you could do on your own, but
Yep,
it would be great to grab one friend, two friends, a couple friends. Plus it builds a relationship, and kind of
absolutely.
accountability, So but Tracy, uh so she's had this book, what, 5 years?
Yes, it's been in the makings for 5 years. Yeah,
And it
crazy.
was it was binder form for five
Hmm.
years, right?
Yes, I just printed the pages off and put them in a binder and led a couple groups at church, which was wonderful. And they were almost like my test lab to see if what God was telling me and what else was He going to show me. And He showed me a lot during that class. And then He showed me a lot when He said, why is it on the shelf? It needs to get published. And so in that time, I added more things also. So it's a work in process, and it was a work in progress. It is finished, which is great.
And you found somebody, I mean, somebody came across your path that could help you go through the publishing process. So that was formatting and doing some of those things.
Right.
I was able to help Tracy a little bit reluctantly because I didn't know the process either. I knew some things, but not, so um but tell us, Tracy, you were saying about being a people pleaser in the midst of you getting that book ready to publish. That's where you kind of
Yeah.
identified that a little bit.
Yeah, the gentleman that I had help me was wonderful. He was great, very kind, very enthusiastic, very encouraging to me, that it was great content, all of that, and he was getting it all formatted for me. And there was just one thing that was happening, and that was the cover. And the binding of the cover was not being accepted by Amazon KDP. And so it kept coming back, and he was working so hard. But the issue was, and this is no put down on the gentleman, this is my problem, is that he had a whole different cover than what I was wanting, actually. But because my people pleasing came back in, I said yes when I should have said, I really want something different. And it wasn't until the middle of the night, God woke me up, not very nicely. It was really a pain, like I won't even go into that, but I heard him say a few words, and I knew that the cover could not be published that way, even though this um young man who was helping me put his heart and soul in it, and I understood that, and I was very appreciative of it. It wasn't what I wanted, and I would not stand my ground to and have my boundary and stand my ground. So fast forward, um, God gave me this, what I was supposed to have, and it was exactly what I wanted. And so I'm telling Tammy this, and she goes, oh, how about this picture? And I want, throughout my book, I have pictures from the Pacific Northwest throughout it with scripture on it that I've taken myself. And I said, I love it. Where did it come from, Tammy?
Yeah, well, Tracy was like, she's like, God told me it's supposed to be white, right? Wasn't it
Mhm.
white?
Yeah.
And I'm like, just white or like maybe a picture? And I was like, okay, so I was in Gulf Shores, Alabama, the Gulf of America, and I had taken some pictures. Well, they're known for their white beaches. And so I'm like, what do you think about, because I know her scenic pictures within the book, and I know that she likes beaches, she likes water. And I said, let me look through my pictures and see. And it just, I couldn't have had a better picture because it was a path to the beach. And, the other thing is, the cover just wasn't her vision, and it really didn't highlight the book. So this took Tracy out of the book, and it put God in the center of the book, and it was like the path to God. And so
Exactly.
it all came together, but also it came together because she's in community.
Hmm.
She's with other people. And like she said, there's no um it's not on the guy that did it. It was just the fact that he didn't have her vision. Yeah, so basically he didn't have her vision. And so, but she also didn't know, she was also not sure, she had something in her mind but didn't, so Tracy, you can expand on that a little bit more.
Right. He didn't have my vision, but it wasn't his fault that he didn't have my vision. I didn't communicate my vision. I was starting to go and step back into that people pleasing and not wanting to hurt his feelings, and not a whole bunch of things went with it. And I'm not going to go into all of that, but I do want to say that I he didn't have my vision because I didn't communicate it well, and I was stepping back into something that I shouldn't have been stepping back in, which was people pleasing. And that is such a horrible thing. It's like comparison. Comparison robs you of joy. People pleasing will eventually rob you of joy. And so, but the good news is when Tammy stepped in and she had that picture, which I can show that to you. It's beautiful. It's like it was everything that I wanted, everything that I wanted. And then Tammy dug in and figured out how to finish. She took me across the finish line. Thank you, she and Jesus. And so I just was really thankful. But even when we were getting the font and everything for God's Way, a lot of these fonts have the small, not the capital G like this, but they have the small one, but in a big. big like this.
Yeah, it was capitalized, but it looked like a small G. And
But it
Tracy
looked
was
like a
like,
small G. And
yeah.
I mean, I kind of wrestled with Tammy, but I go, I'm not gonna people please. I'm not people
Well, and
pleasing.
we had to like go through several fonts to find
Fonts,
there was a
right.
lot that were in the smaller
Small,
G
right,
look with
lowercase, those
yeah.
lowercase G's, and I wanted a uppercase G. And so we finally found one. Thank you. And we got it, and it's just exactly what I had envisioned, what was my vision, and I am so thankful. And I'm thankful for Tammy, and I'm thankful for the young man that started me out and told me I could do it, and actually encouraged me along the way because he was reading all the things. And in his job, he works with people that could use it. And so he was very encouraging that way. But also, I learned a huge, huge lesson that I won't forget. And that's not to step back into people pleasing because it took me many years to get out of that. And that's a whole nother part of my testimony, my journey. So,
But
yeah,
also in the midst of it, you got your voice, right?
I did.
You
Yes.
know, I mean, as much as like Tracy's been doing this for 12 years, like if you talk to Tracy, she's confident, you know, you wouldn't know. Like nobody knows that we have insecurities. Or like when we go through different seasons in our life, there's things that come up that we didn't know are there. And that's why we need each other to be able to walk through those things and to break th things off. Like, you know,
That's
I
right.
might think that I'm healed from something and then something comes up and that's what this situation happened, right?
Right. Right.
You know,
Exactly what
you've
happened.
walked through a ton of healing, you know, like you're
Absolutely.
not walking around saying I don't have a voice or
Right.
you know, like that you don't stand your ground, that you don't speak up for yourself,
Right.
all these things. But then in a situation like this, it was an unknown thing because you didn't know how to publish a book,
I didn't. I had no
you know.
clue. No clue.
And what I've seen in Tracy in the last few months, partially because of the book, you blossomed in a way that, you know, because you learned something new. Like Tracy and I were working together to get this cover. She already knew something more than I did because I had these courses on KDP that I hadn't taken. So Tracy
Mhm.
was like already doing these things and I'm like, "Oh, well, she already knows that." I just knew because I was kind of chat GBTing a little bit, going through the course that I had, that I could help her with, you know, but we worked together on it, you know,
Right.
so like,
Very much
you
so.
know, now what's Tracy doing? You have a journal that you're working on,
I
right?
do. I do. That corresponds with the retreat that we're about ready to do.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So these are the things like Tracy and I have talked about like she's had this book for 5 years. She's
Hmm.
been knowing that she's wanting to publish it. This has been, you know, kind of how in our life when we have a vision, sometimes
Hmm.
we have to die to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to put it on a shelf because it, you know, there's times where it just becomes our focus or our idol in some ways or, you know, and I'm not even saying the book was her idol. I'm just saying like there's things that sometimes we have to die to. And then when
Mhm.
God resurrects it, it's in the right timing,
That's
you
right.
know, and everything just kind of came together for this to happen.
Yeah, it
And,
did.
you know, and then, you know, as we've talked about her book, you know, a book isn't necessarily something that you're going to get rich off of, but it's a
No.
tool. It's a tool for her to use as she speaks to women, as she encounters women. So
Hmm.
just so you know, she goes to churches, she goes to events, and she speaks to women. This is something now that she can hand women that they can do it by themselves, they can do it with a group. So she now has a new tool
That's right.
in her tool belt that she can pull out and say, "Hey, you know what? You know, I've walked through it. I've walked other people through the book, you know, and so
That's right.
that's
Yeah,
what's exciting about the book. So we'll kind of
that's
pivot
fun.
from that. And so we have the book, went through all that. Here, Tracy was deciding that she was so I'm just gonna I'll let you elaborate on this, but Tracy was like, you know, I need more speaking engagements. I need, you know, and so we're like, okay, the book's done. So what are you gonna do from there? And what happened?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because usually every year, probably about February, March, people get tired of their New Year's resolutions. And so they start calling and saying, I'd love to coach with you and all of that. That's great. And this year, I've had one new client all year, and which is odd. I still have my regular clients, which is excellent, but I just haven't gotten any new. Well, the same thing with speaking. I have gotten to do quite a few and honored to do a couple women's conferences, a women's Christmas tea, a bloom over at one of our local churches, which is a women's thing at night. And so I've gotten to speak and at a nonprofit, 100 Women Who Care. So it's been fun. I love doing it. I have a background that can do it. I get scared, so don't think that I don't, but it's fun. I didn't have any speaking engagements either. So I kept waiting for the Lord. Somebody's going to come. Somebody's going to ask me to do something. It'll be great. Well, I had a client that said, when's your next retreat? Which she was talking about conferences that we've had at our church. And I said, you mean conferences? And she goes, yeah, that's what I mean. But retreat, now the Lord's talking to me about retreats. And I had a lot of them back in my past, women's retreats. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're so expensive. There's so much work. But we have a friend at church that has beautiful property. And so I asked her, what would you think about doing if I could use your property for an outside retreat? And Tammy and a friend of ours came around and said, we'll do this together with you. We'll back you, which I, like Tammy says, we can't do these things alone. I can't do it without my friends. I don't want to do it without my friends. I want that covering. I want that. The same with Tammy. When she steps out and does something, I want to be there. I want to have her back. I want to be praying for her. I want to do those things. So, um, we all sat down, talked, kind of figured it out, did the flyer, and we're going to be doing a retreat next weekend. And there's still quite a bit of stuff to do, but I'm super
And
excited.
what's the name of the retreat?
The retreat is Awaken the Warrior Within, God's Way. And
And who's this?
that was something that
Who is
God
this for?
downloaded. Huh?
Who's it for?
It's
What
for
woman?
women.
Yep, what woman needs this?
Yeah, what women needs is we're in a battle every single day, whether it is a true battle that is within our family or with friends or relationships or whatever, or it's a battle within ourselves. We we're in a battle and we have to learn how to fight God's way, not the way of the world, but God's way. And when I started, I mean, the Lord downloaded that title right away, that theme for the retreat. And I have 6 wonderful women that are going to be speaking. There's worship, there's all lunch, all the fun stuff. But what I want to say about that is I was waiting on God, but God was waiting on me to step out because now, between now and next spring, I have 4 speaking engagements. People started calling me. And I really felt the Lord say, you were waiting on me, but actually I was waiting on you. So sometimes we have to take that risk. Sometimes we have to, even though we don't know what next steps are, even though we don't know what it's going to look like, even if we don't know that we might fail, God's there for us. Jesus wants us to do it. He wants us to step out in faith. He wants us to cling to him and trust him for every little step, just even the tiniest of steps. That faith, remember the mustard seed of faith can move a mountain? Well, it can. And so this is nothing that I can do on my own. It's with people. I don't want to be out there on my own, even though my business is um, me. I don't have any employees, but I sure have a lot of encouraging friends around me, and I do appreciate it, and I'm honored to have them. So,
So, what might a woman be experiencing if um that would make them say, I want to be in this room. I want to be at that retreat. What's going on in their life?
um, maybe, I mean, there could be lots of different things happening. They might be like, there might be some chaos going on and they just want to come and sit and enjoy some quiet, a quiet place, a beautiful place, or they could be at that place where they're going, I'm just exhausted. I feel like I'm in a war all the time with whatever it is in their life that they are working through. Um, they may be at a place where they just want some good time to be able to visit with like-minded women that are encouraging and want to get to know each other. There's just so many places where women can be that this would supply all of those things. That would, be an opportunity for any of that. So,
And it's you said it's a beautiful place. It's actually, to describe it, you go down this gravel driveway and to the
mhm,
bottom, and it's overlooking just a beautiful spot in the river. It's the River, right?
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful spot in the river. Um, it's just a quiet, so kind of just as Tracy's saying that, I was thinking it's definitely a place you could be refreshed,
Hmm.
you know.
Absolutely.
There's
Yeah.
no outside noise. So there's minimal cell service, if any. So the
Mhm.
distractions of, our phones that we're always on, technology. I mean, that's just how we live. Most of us live our lives of distraction. So it's a
That's
time
right.
to, kind of walk away from all the distractions that we have in our life.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's just going to be a nice day. And of course, we live in the Pacific Northwest, so we hope that I noticed the mornings are getting cooler. So, but the afternoons are nice, and we're praying that that's what's going to happen. This could have only happened with the Lord behind it, with Jesus behind it, and the faith and the I think the the longing for something more. I
Mm,
think as women, we forget that we can long for something more. So there's more there. I'm really kind of excited to see what the Lord wants to do amongst the women.
it's awesome. Well, and we'll have good food too.
Of course, because yes, we will have good food. Tammy's been planning a lot of it,
Well,
which
and
is
we're hoping
great.
to have not, some good nutritious food that
Yeah,
everybody will
not a
enjoy.
lot,
Yeah.
not tons. We have a welcome gift that I'm super excited about. So,
And tools in their tool belt they get to leave with, right?
yes, they do. You'll leave with a lot of great tools and some strategies and some inspiration and a lot of encouragement and laughter. Yeah, a couple of my couple people that I have speaking are pretty funny, so it'll be good. So,
Yeah.
and then I get to speak too. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
So for the woman that's watching who feels like part of her has gone dormant,
Hmm.
or who knows there's something on her heart that she keeps putting off, what would you say to her?
Never too late. You're never too old. I didn't even start Awaken Life Coaching until I was 55, and I'm going to be 68 next month. So tell me, I mean, it's never too late.
And she's looking for a husband. If anybody's out
Hey,
there
hey,
that
hey, hey,
knows a
hey.
single guy that still
You
has
are going to cut this part out, right?
still has some miles on his tire to go. We don't want the ones that
Oh,
are missing too much tread. We
yeah,
want some
no.
still has quite a few miles on the tires to go. So just an FYI if
No.
anybody's listening. She
You
doesn't
know,
say
it's,
that. She doesn't say that, but she does.
oh,
We talk about it. Yeah.
we talk about it. Yes, we do. But yeah, it's never too late. Don't ever think it's too late because it's not. And your past doesn't define you. Trust me. If you knew my past, if you knew my testimony, it does not define you. But the key is consistency, tenacity to not give up, and the longing to want more. and to know that there is more. Those are three of the first three keys of really being able to move forward and to be able to have the life that you are supposed to be living. Because God
So,
told us
so,
that.
so as Tracy just said, the first of her keys. So, Tracy also has a YouTube channel, and
Oh, I do.
she talks about a lot of different tools,
Hmm.
keys, hope,
Oh,
joy. She has a lot of things in her tool belt that she talks about on her YouTube channel. She has
mhm.
Instagram, Facebook,
I do.
right?
Yep. Instagram and Facebook. I'm not on TikTok. All the people that keep saying they're following me on TikTok, I'm going, well, I'm glad you're following those three videos. you know, so I'm not doing TikTok. I'd rather do YouTube. TikTok is not my jam. I like to watch TikToks, but it's just not for me. So not at this point in time.
So how can they find you on those channels?
On YouTube, it's Awaken Life Coaching with Tracy. And then I have a business page on Facebook, which is Awaken Life Coaching and Supports. And then on my personal page is Tracey Pruitt. And it goes straight, all my personal page stuff goes straight to my Instagram, which is Tracy with Hope. So
And I will link those here in
thank
with this
you.
video, and then also the book. And there's still time to sign up for Awaken the Warrior Within. Uh,
Yes, but do it quickly because we're filling up. So
yeah, there's
yeah,
still a little
we
time
really,
where it'll be just a little over a week out. So the 29th, and
yes.
it's from 10 or 11.
29th of August. It's from 10 to 3. The park opens, I call it the park, at 9:30. And super excited. Let's see what the Lord wants to do. The presence of the Lord is there. When you get there, you're going to feel peace. You're going to feel refreshing right when you get there. It may take a couple minutes to breathe in, but the presence is there. Let's see what the Holy Spirit wants to do through this time.
Yeah. And so, this is part of us getting together as women, and we don't take enough time together. So,
That's right.
it's a safe place. A lot of times when we get together as women, there's tears, there's laughter, and we walk away feeling, being filled up, you know,
That's right.
a lot of
Yep.
times we're depleted. So yeah. So thank you, Tracy, for
Well,
joining.
thank you, Tammy. I am honored. I appreciate it. It's fun. We have fun together.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah.
We have
So,
quite a bit of time that we get to spend together, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in Tracy's life. So if you're looking for someone, a guest speaker at your church, Tracy can also, you know, do Zoom. She can
mhm.
do phone. She
Yeah.
does, some of her
I have
coaching by
clients
phone.
all over the United States, over eastern, back east, and down in Oregon and eastern Washington and Carolinas.
And
So
what's the best way they can contact you if they're for coaching?
oh, for coaching, you can get on my Facebook business page. You can message me on Facebook, and you can actually do those two things. Probably is the best. You can email me at Awaken Life Coaching and Supports 2014. That's the year I started at gmail.com. So email me and let me know who you are, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I'll put all these things in so you'll have them to be able to access Tracy, and just know, like, you can set up a consultation with her,
Oh
and
yeah, I have a free consultation. So
yeah,
I call it a mini session where you get to tell your story and I get to hear you. So, and see if we're a good fit.
so great. Okay. Well,
All
thanks
right.
everybody for listening
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you, Tracy, for being the guest. And remember, like, share, do all the things, and follow. And you'll have Tracy's information too. Follow her too. Like I said, she's always dropping a lot of gold. And so,
Thank you.
this is where we want to come together as women in business, and be able to support each other. And part of the algorithm is you being active so that we can reach more women
Yes.
and share. So
Can I do my tagline before we leave?
absolutely, yes, please do.
Okay. Transformation happens one step at a time. Don't forget, it takes one step and it can even be a baby step.
Yes, and as Tracy
There you
said,
go.
you're not too late and you're not too old.
That's right.
So
Trust me.
So thank you, everybody. Thanks for
Thank
joining me
you.
today, and bless you. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you again next week. I think we'll see about these guest speakers, but we'll have more. So we'll keep you posted.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.